Hi, welcome to Chesterfield's Chamber Chat. I'm with Samuel Little, and we're going to talk about, Samuel, I think you might be one of the ones that have been the longest chamber member that we've done so far. So why don't we start there? How long have you been involved with the chamber?
Well, I've been saying 11 years for a long time, so maybe it's 12 years.
Okay. And tell us the name of the company for our viewers.
Okay, it's SLGD, Effective Marketing since 1995.
And so we're in January, it's January 2020, so 2020 is perfect vision. So what are you talking to clients about when it comes to the perfect vision with their marketing?
Well, a lot of my clients have small budgets, so what we do is we look at really what works. We're not looking for a large, big plan. Some of my competitors, they look for a huge plan, and really, we're just focusing in the areas that really work. And even if, when I work with clients, even if I don't do any work with them or any marketing with them, one of the first things I speak to them about is the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce.
Well, you're one of our biggest fans. I will say you're probably our top referral member if we allocate them out throughout the year. That we tell everybody we're all in the membership business, from our members to our staff, and you have definitely proven that. We thank you for that.
Thanks.
When people are thinking about what works for their business, their marketing, is there any kind of uniformity for small businesses? Is there anything you're seeing that, if a small business could only do one or two things, what one or two things should they think about?
Well, a lot of my clients are solo entrepreneurs, so they really need to look at their budget really carefully, not spread their dollars way out. Websites is really the basic of everything. It's really where everything works from. There's a lot of things you can do for your website. And I would just say, make your website look like you, not royalty-free photography. Have your picture on there, your domain name, your email address. That's really where the focal point is on the website. And then from there, we spread out from there.
I still see a lot of small businesses that don't have their email as their domain name.
Yes.
What would you recommend for those small businesses that are still using even Yahoo or a Gmail, and then have their business be the front prefix of that?
Right. Well, it's really important that you have your domain name as your email address. Builds credibility, builds trust. And there could be even some fraud mixed in there as well, as anybody can make a Gmail account.
Right.
So somebody could make a Gmail account and be one character off, or the L could be an I, and they could solicit your customers and say, hey, you need to pay me through this different avenue. So it's really important that you have your domain name as your email address. And everybody has challenges with technology, and so I can set people up where if they're using Gmail, we can even have their domain name email address come into that Gmail account.
Right, so they don't feel like they can manage two systems.
Yeah, it all comes in the same place. That's how I have mine set up. I have a free Gmail account, and I have my Samuel at SLGD.com email coming directly into my Gmail account. So it's a free service, but it does take a little bit of time to set it up. If you're savvy, you can do it yourself. If not, then I can help you out with that.
Now, you talked about budgets, and so solopreneurs, startup entrepreneurs who every little dollar is important, and they're, especially on the front end, you're writing checks a little bit more frequently than you are as you get further down the road. So when you're thinking about, okay, some people are, and I know I have this conversation with newer members too, you eat what you kill. So those marketing dollars that you're spending, how do you determine how much money you spend in marketing off the bat? Because you can't be everywhere, even though you got to get customers right away.
Right. Well, for me, I'm a solo entrepreneur, just like a lot of my clients are. And I make rules for myself, and I kind of felt like at one point My budget for any particular kind of service was $300. That would be like a good benchmark.
Mhm.
But it's not only just having the budget or spending the budget, it's what your return is going to be.
Right.
So I see it all the time where they're spending money on things that I already know they're not going to get a return from. So by talking to a marketing professional like myself, it's important that you go over these different things to even look to see what your return is going to be. And a lot of people, they like to do the fun stuff up front. It's like, oh good, we're gonna put this ad out there,
Right.
and we're gonna do all the fun stuff, but there's a lot of stuff at the very beginning that you have to do that's not so fun, like planning, and then you actually do the fun stuff, and then there's the selling part on the back end where you have to reap, what you decided you were going to do. So there's a whole, in some cases, get somebody like myself to do the not so fun stuff, and then you get to do the fun stuff.
Right, do the things that you enjoy,
Right,
and
right.
outsource the things you don't
Exactly.
enjoy, and have somebody else do that. Yeah. You hear people talk about entrepreneurs, small businesses having an advisory team.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say are some of those key, obviously a marketing, branding, advertising professional that would help them on their advisory team?
Mm-hmm.
What other tools do you think they need to put in their little pocket?
Well, for myself, I got liability insurance.
Oh yeah.
And because my industry on the internet, there's so many different things coming into play. The internet, a lot of scams and things like that, and clients using photography that's not theirs.
Yeah.
And without me knowing, then they could get sued or I could get sued. So I purchased liability insurance. Not too many companies my size have that.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like that was something that I needed. Marketing, people to help you with your finances, that sort of thing. Let's see, maybe somebody to collaborate with, somebody to bounce ideas off with, so that you're not just making the sole decision, and just have somebody else to bounce those ideas off.
So I'm going to make a pivot just a little bit and talk about, you've been involved with the chamber over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've done a ton of volunteer work.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to tell people, give where you think you can get, but give.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it comes back to you twofold.
More than that.
Talk a little bit about your service and how that has benefited you, because I know you've given time, you've given talent, you've given wisdom. So you've checked all the boxes.
Right. Well, with the chamber, and I think about this a lot. I think about standing up in front of the chamber at the luncheon and just tell them, just give. The more, when you give, you do receive. I mean, when you do a good deed for somebody, you get immediate results from that. You feel good about yourself. And so by giving to the chamber, I've been member of the month 3 times in my tenure, and I was awarded Small Business of the Year. Now, that Small Business of the Year was in 2012. That award that I received, I'm still reaping the benefits from that award.
That's awesome.
Because when people come to my website, they see that, and it's an award from the chamber, which is, a high standard. They see that and they don't even question. They just, they hire me right on the spot. So I would just say, even in the early days, I gave, and I kept asking myself, what kind of return am I going to get?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know if I was going to even get a return. And at that point, I just kind of didn't really care if I got a return or not. I just kept going and being on a committee, because I feel like the chamber is built by its members. So if you have an idea, bring it forth. If it's an idea that you're going to benefit from, bring it forward, because you're going to be in charge of it and you're going to you're going to benefit from it, and so is everybody else. So I just feel like, you know, the chamber has, y'all have come to me and asked me about, you know, should we do this, should we do that, how
Right.
much should we charge for this, how much should we charge for that, and so, you know, it's kind of a you know, a scale where y'all have helped me and I've helped the chamber, and you know, that's one of the first things that I bring up when I speak to new clients is like, you know, how can we get them tapped into a whole group of people, you know, that are their customers.
Well, I liken it to, I mean, just a business. You know, you're in it for the long haul. It's a marathon, not a race, right? So, you know, while this isn't really a conversation all about the chamber, your work in the chamber shows through the growth of your company. Tell us a little bit about, we've talked a lot about small business and entrepreneurs, but tell us a little bit, what should medium and larger businesses be thinking about as they're looking at 2020?
Well, I mean, video's been around for a really long time.
What are you seeing? Anything new with video that's working? I mean, people have got YouTube channels and Snapchat.
There's some things with YouTube that some YouTube marketing is coming into play.
We're obviously using video.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people, they have a really hard time behind the camera. I recently took a class where they were teaching me how to do video, and I passed that along to another client that I developed a website. And really, right now, video should be one of the first things on your website. You know, normal websites have this huge, what we call a slider, where the big picture slides across.
That's right.
Now it's okay to have that, but maybe the next thing should be a video. I talked with a client this morning, and that's pretty much what we're going to be doing to redevelop this website, is have a video on there. Like I said, it doesn't really require a lot of work to do video. You just have to get behind the camera and hit the button and just get used to it.
That brings me to the next point. So we have these variations of big scale, very produced videos versus, you know, I've got an iPhone 10. It shoots a pretty good video.
It really depends on the client, what type of level of quality they're looking for. I have a particular client that, you know, me and another marketing professional are working together with this client, and we just tell them, just take your phone and do a video. Right. Because it brings out, you know, your personality, and, you know, every now and then, if you make a mistake, it's okay. Right. But they're like, oh, no, this has got to be like really professional.
People are a little bit more forgiving when they realize it's just a regular video that may not be edited. Right. Now,
you know, you just do a video, boom, you're done, you put it out there, move on. If you want a professional one done, okay, then you got to have a script, you got to get somebody that's really professional, then you're going to pay the money. There's a lot of setup. And there's a lot of money involved. A lot of my clients don't have that kind of money. Right.
And then where do you place, you know, determining how you're going to place your video?
Yeah, so it's, in some cases, particularly for solo entrepreneurs, if you're looking for that really, really professional one, you're going to pay for it, but you might not even get to the point of actually doing it because there's so much preparation. Right. You know, and in my world, it's changing every day. The internet is changing every day. Things I said yesterday are different today. Google changed their dashboard over just the new year. It's like opening up, oh great, whole new dashboard. So things are changing so rapidly. You really need to just get on there and get it done and move forward. And then, you know, benefit from that and keep doing that over and over and over.
So talk to us a little bit about social media marketing and what you're seeing there. I mean, it used to be, if you look back 10 years ago, that wasn't even a position for companies. But now some of your medium to large companies, they have a dedicated person. That's their only job.
And that's what it needs to be, because social media is a conversation between two people. Not between three people, not a translator. So if you have someone like myself, a professional that handles your social media, it's going to need to be treated a little bit differently than a conversation, because it's like you telling you telling me what to tell the customer through social media. Social media is a two-way conversation. So you really need somebody in the business that's actually in the business, in the office, doing the work. You really need somebody doing that. Now, I do have clients that contract me to handle their social media, and it might be just making posts on a regular basis, kind of keeping their voice out there.
Right.
It may be making sure there's no fraud, make sure somebody's not saying bad things about you, keeping an eye on all of that. But it's really important that you have somebody in the business that's actually doing social media. Now, there are some social media strategies. There's a particular strategy that I've used with a client of mine where we made a post, we got a lot of traction on it, but that post had a link outside to their website.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Facebook it's a world within itself.
Right.
Okay. And Google and Facebook, they're competitors. So if you have a post on Facebook, it's not going to get out on the search engines. Google's just going to say you have a Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to say they said this, and this week. So whenever you do a marketing strategy on social media, you have to have a link that takes them outside of that world into Google, into the whole internet world. And then when Google sees that these people are crossing over from Facebook to the internet, that's where your rankings come up there. So we did really well with this particular client in getting a lot of traffic, a lot of conversation, and then having that crossover to where then when they came to the website, they were able to get more information, and then Google boosts their rankings there. And usually this clients, ask people, where did you find me? And
right.
In some cases, they say Google because of this crossover.
That's right.
It's kind of twofold, but that's part of a strategy, and that's a strategy that I use
mm-hmm.
that maybe your average person wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that we might post a picture and some comments, but it may not necessarily be a link. It might be just the picture itself.
And it's not just in that arena, but in any arena, it's the message.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people they're like, oh, I'm doing marketing, and I'm advertising, but it's the message. What are you saying? How are you getting that feedback from them? I see time and time again where people they'll do like an email marketing campaign, and I read it just because I want to see how it actually works and if they're actually following up on what they need to do. In most cases, they don't. Like I said, they do the fun stuff. I'm going to send out an email,
right?
But they don't know how to get the return back.
So we, many of our members sign up for our newsletter that we send out. So we on Mondays send out our Monday debrief, our weekly newsletter. And so it goes out to over 7,000 email subscriptions. So for us, the candy is those 7,000 emails. So, there are other businesses who have their email listserv that might be thinking, how do I better target the candy, which is those email subscribers that have opted in or we've collected in some other measurement to put into a database? How can I use our email marketing still working? How do they better use that?
Yeah, email marketing, it worked real well from the beginning, and then there was a point where people didn't really, they were like too much email.
Yeah, I'm like, just text me.
Yeah,
just text me.
Too much email, and then that went away, and then when it goes away, and it's just like direct mail as well. It's like, oh, you get buried in there, but then when everybody said no, direct mail doesn't work, it kind of left the field open for when you do send a direct mail piece in, then you're noticed. It's the same way with email. email, you just need to define your list, and don't feel bad if somebody opts out, because that's just a person that, is not listening to you. It's
Right, might not buy anyway.
Right, might not buy anyway. With the chamber email blasts, people do business with people, not necessarily businesses. And so you've got Facebook, so you've got your face on there. You got LinkedIn, you got your face on there. People recognize you by your face.
It's a lot of my face on there.
They might not remember your name,
yeah,
or even your last name, and just by searching you on the internet, they may not find you. But with when you send out an email blast through the chamber, it's important that you have your picture on there. I see time and time again where it's just, the logo, and they're doing their offer and everything, and also there's no link. Sometimes there's no defined link that takes them out of that back to the website.
Mm-hmm.
And even for myself, I'm looking at it, examining it, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Or they might not even have their name in there. It might just be the name of the bank and what their offer is, and you click on it, and then it might just go to their homepage. So there's a lot of strategies with that. Is, have your picture on there, have your name on there, have a link that just doesn't go to the homepage, actually goes to what we call a landing page.
Mm-hmm.
That's specifically made
for that piece,
when people go there, so that you can sell them.
So let's talk about something that seems so basic in marketing, your business card.
Yes.
Yeah. So we collect business cards at pretty much all of our events. So we get to see tons of types of business cards. So we see them, they're glossy, they're small and square, they've got some consistency to them. What do you think? Good, bad, doesn't matter, you just need it?
Yeah, you need a business card. I have a client that said, I'm going to do away with business cards, and that didn't work well with me, because they feel like they're putting money on business cards. Don't cost that much,
right?
Okay, and so like if I'm in a conversation with you, I'm usually going to exchange business cards, and I take that business card back to my office, and I send you an email, or I might check out your email or your website. And so when we do that exchange, we might talk about the weather. We might talk about the holidays. We might talk about what you're doing this weekend. We may not even talk about business or even what each other does. Or we might get interrupted by something else or someone else. And so we don't have that conversation. So it's good that you have their contact information with you, and you can hand that out. And you can hand it out to a lot of people. Whereas you think, oh, I'm going to talk to everybody in the room. And you might not have that opportunity. And somebody might want to, if you have your business card like on a table or something, they might want to just, they don't want to talk to you, they just want to sneak in and get a card and then contact you later. And that's, it's just really important that you have a business card. Now, business cards, like you said, they come in all different size, shapes, weights, all that kind of stuff. Back in the day, and it may still be true, is that we feel like the heavier the card, it kind of creates an emotion, and in some cases it does create an emotion. But my card has changed, in a few different ways. You really need to have your picture on your card. I had someone tell me, same kind of thing is they get all these cards, and they come back and they're like, well, who is this guy? Who is this lady?
Oh yeah.
And they might not even remember who this person is, but if you have your picture on there, oh yeah, I remember her. So it's important that you have your picture on your card, and not only your card, but on your website. There's
I like cards I can write on, because I get so many.
Right.
And then when I get in the car, I can just write either the date or the event. That way, when I get back and get a chance to grab them out my purse or my pocket, I'm like, okay, I met them there. I can send a little note card or email and follow up with them. Because you want to do something. You took the time to take the card. You should do something with it now that you've taken the time to take the card, right?
Yeah. Now, cards that are in different shapes and stuff, that kind of comes with your style. If it's a square or round or whatever, but it doesn't always fit in the card holder.
That's right. Yep. I've got my little card holder on the back of my phone, or I've actually got the physical one you carry. Yeah.
Or if you have them all in a stack, they say to make it a little bit taller than the rest because it stands out, and that does happen, but it won't fit into your business card case if you have one. Yeah. And sometimes I do that. I'll stack them up and then I'll see which ones stick out and I'll see which one that is. Those are all fine. I had one client one time, they were carpenters and they had it like really long and narrow, like a piece of wood, and it actually looked like wood. And those are pretty
neat.
Little styled cards. Some have raised lettering. I design business cards for companies, and that's one, like you mentioned that you write on the back. That's one of my first questions is like, are you going to write on your card? Because some contractors, they'll see something at your house and they'll write a quote on the back of your card and they'll stick it in your door. So that's, and we always check to see if you can write on it. And so that's really important because they say, oh yeah, we're going to write on it, and then you've already designed it and printed it on a glossy stock.
You're not writing on it with a glossy,
not gonna happen. So that's one of the first questions that I ask when designing a business card.
So before we get to the end, what are kind of those last memorable ideas and thoughts that a business should be thinking about as it relates to marketing that you want to leave our viewers with?
Well, marketing and advertising are two different things. Marketing,
and they don't always have the same person.
I'm doing marketing right now, okay? Because I'm not looking for a direct return from this conversation, even though I may get a return from this conversation.
Absolutely.
So marketing is being out there, signs on your vehicle, if you do that kind of work, where you can read it at 60 miles an hour. Advertising, being a part of the chamber, talking to people, giving of yourself, speaking, those are all marketing. And then there's advertising, which is where you put in an ad somewhere and you're looking for a direct response.
Okay.
So a lot of people, when we speak of marketing, they think of like everything, but advertising is you're looking for that direct return. And I would just say keep doing what you're doing. If it's working, keep doing that. Don't try to do everything.
Yeah.
Don't try to be on every social media there is. Pick a few of them. Be really good at that. That's pretty much what I have to say about that.
That's good advice.
Okay.
Samuel, thanks for chatting with us.
Right, thank you.
Until we see you at the next event.
All right. Yeah.
This was Chamber Chat.
Thank you.